Hello, welcome back to the channel. So today, I'm not even sure what the title of this is going to be, but if I made the title something fairly obvious, you already know what's going to be happening. But before we get into that, I want to mention a few things. First, you see me wear shirts like this, and I also have designs like this, and this over at my Teespring store. So the link is here, and you can also find the link below. But what you may not have known is that I've launched an Etsy store. And on my Etsy store, I'm going to be selling prints, magnets, and a few other things. So the link for that is here. And you can also see that link below in the description. So, all that being said, let's get on with today's stuff. All right, so today we're back in the rose garden, and I'm going to do something that I really wasn't planning on doing, but I didn't have any other good ideas for today's video. And, I'm looking at the camera now. I think I'm in shot here. And recently, I had a deer come through and nibble on all of my rose bushes. Now, thankfully, it didn't nibble them as badly as they have in the past, where they just take it down all to stem with no leaves on them. But that being said, these rose bushes are all looking a bit wild and mangy. And I did some homework because I have pruned my rose bushes before, but I did a little homework just to re-educate myself. And again, I'm not an expert, so if you guys have done this before, if you have an opinion, if you have thoughts on the subject, please leave those comments below. What I'm going to do is start pruning them now, and the reason being is because, well, the deer have sort of opened them up, as it were. They've removed a lot of the leaves, so you can see a lot of the interior branches very clearly. And from what I've read, you're supposed to do this in the winter kind of thing. But I thought, again, since the deer created this opportunity, I might as well take it and start trimming them back now, and then they'll hopefully flush back beautifully in the springtime. So what I'm going to do is first reduce, this is Mr. Lincoln in case you were wondering, and I'm going to first just start reducing the height. And what I'm looking to do is cut back to a bud of sorts. So that looks good there. And if you're wondering what a bud on a rose bush looks like, see if I can get this in shot here. I think you can see this. Hope you can see this. But right there, there's almost like a line across the stem. And right above it, there's a little red bud. And then there's another one here. So again, I hope you guys can see that here. I'm trying to create a thing here. There we go. I think you can see this. So that's the bud. So what I'll do is cut right above that, and I'll cut at an angle. Now, the whole cutting at an angle thing too might be more of an old wives' tale. I've heard it talked about both as something that you absolutely should do to something that is not really necessary. But the theory is if you cut the branch at an angle, it allows water to run off. And if you keep it flat, water will sit on top of that and possibly cause the tip of the stem to rot. That's the theory. Again, I don't know how evidentiary this is or how factual, or, again, it could be more of an old wives' tale. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip that. Let me grab a couple other tall ones, and then we're going to do a few other snips. I've also heard that you should reduce the bush to like a third or something, half. Me personally, I take it down as low as I can. I don't take it down as low as I can. I take it to where I think I'm comfortable with it, height-wise. So I'll leave it maybe 3 feet above the ground in this case. This is a larger, more mature rose bush. Sometimes it's hard to see the buds. So I'm just going to cut right above a leaf branch, stem. And I'm just chopping up the branches as I put them in the bucket because they fit more comfortably in the bucket then. And all these branches will go into the compost pile. You gotta be careful not to step on some of the other plants that I've planted recently. There's an iris right beneath my legs here. And of course, everybody has their own personal preference. But me, I'm just wearing some thick leather gloves. I also have rose gloves where they have the nice collar on the, or sleeve on the glove. But it's a little too hot today, and I don't intend on sticking my arm into a bush. That being said, if I do and I start getting cut up, well, let me bring you guys in a little closer. So, change the camera angle. Hopefully you guys can see this a little better. I think I'm gonna do a little more reducing on height on a few of these branches. I'm gonna take, well, this guy I don't even know if I'm gonna keep. This one I'm gonna reduce down to above that node. And this, I feel like I should reduce more. There we go, just a little bit. Now the next thing I'm going to do is start looking at maybe thinning some of the branches, because I've never heard of a rosebush called a weed before, but if I had to describe the growth of a rosebush, it's kind of weedy-like. They're very hardy plants, you can do a lot to them, and to me they just keep coming back almost no matter what you throw at them. Except for diseases and maybe a heavy infestation of a pest of some sort, deer or Japanese beetle or something along those lines. So otherwise, under right growing conditions, they just keep going and going and going and going, like a little Energizer bunny. That being said, there's a lot of interior branches, and they can all start to crisscross and then rub against each other, and then that can cause wounds and infections and things like that. So that's obviously things you don't want. The other thing I've noticed on rose bushes, and maybe it's just me, but sometimes you wind up with various branches that wind up dead. Like this one right here, it's just dead. Not sure why that happens. So I'm just gonna start going in here, and I'll take that. That can stay. So now here's a really good, healthy, strong stem, and I'm gonna leave this alone. In fact, it actually has some new growth on it. There's a new bud up here, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But again, some of these interior branches, I'm just gonna thin out. This also allows for good airflow within the bush, which helps prevent fungal issues. That much I know. Now, I was watching something. I think it might have been Gardener's World. I don't know if you guys watched that. If you do, leave a comment below. Let me know. Who watches Gardener's World out there? And the main host, Monty Don, he has lots of rose bushes. And I've watched him on many occasions just go in barehanded and prune and deal with roses. And I can't. Maybe my skin's too thin. Roses are absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful shrub. It's a beautiful smelling flower. But the thorns, man, thorns are just vicious. I might get those bigger gloves. All right, now I got the bigger gloves on. I kind of felt myself getting into dangerous territory as I was cutting here. So I'm looking for branches that are crisscrossing, branches that just go in the middle for no reason. To me, a branch that just is hanging out in the middle of the bush, you'll never see that rose if it flowers. You know, once the bush fills out. Ooh, that's a bad one. Ow, ow. Almost done here. I didn't take that one I want to get rid of. Yeah, that one. And I thought I saw another one around here. Maybe that one. I think that's going to be okay. So there we go. We've reduced the overall height of Mr. Lincoln, and I thinned out quite a bit of it. Now, some of you who are watching this may think or be saying to the TV, yeah, I could thin this more, or oh my God, I've done something horrible. Again, please leave your thoughts, your comments below. I'm a learning gardener. I'm figuring all this out, but I've done this before, and the rose bushes do okay. They respond pretty well. I've also done this mid-season, where if a bush is just becoming a mess, you know, of tangled branches sometimes, and I can get in there and just do a little thinning, then I will. And again, rose bushes are pretty hardy. I've never had them respond in a negative way to any sort of trimming or pruning. So I think Mr. Lincoln should be good for the winter. I'm probably going to add maybe a little more compost and mulch around the area. And that's about it. The bushes will be a-okay for the winter, and then they'll put on a little growth between now and then. Now and throughout, maybe even in the winter, they may put on a little bit of growth depending upon how warm of winter we have. Again, I'm in growing zone 8A. So now I'm going to go and tackle the rest of my bushes. I'll go through each one. I'm not going to bore you with the intricacies of it. Again, I'm not an expert, but I'll show you befores and afters, and then we'll wrap this video up. Well, there it is. I trimmed back all of my roses here. I thinned them out, and I think they should be a-okay until next spring. I may wind up coming back around and giving it a little prune here and there, but I think most of the heavy lifting is done. I was pretty aggressive with a few of them, but again, roses are pretty hardy and they'll grow back. They'll flush back. I think the only time they won't is if they get a disease or they just get decimated by some sort of horrible pest. It's hot out here. I don't know if I mentioned that. Today is going to be like 80, but tomorrow's going to be 66 or 65, something like that. A crazy, almost 20-degree drop. So that's going to be interesting. Should have done this tomorrow. But I always do a Monday video, or try to always do a Monday video. Mondays and Fridays. If you're new to the channel, thank you for subscribing. I try to do videos on Mondays and Fridays. My name is Jason. This cute thing right here, this is Sophie. You guys might have missed her last week. She got this nice new haircut. If you haven't checked out my Etsy store, please go over check out the Etsy store. There's not a lot of products up there right now, but I am building it up, and there will be more and more over the next month or so. So again, go over to the Etsy store, check it out, bookmark it at the very least, so you can go back and check that out every once in a while. If you don't follow me on Instagram, give a follow on Instagram. I often post pictures there that you won't see here on YouTube or even in the community tab, because the community tab I try to keep more for just random thoughts, behind the scenes, that kind of thing. And some of you actually do like that and enjoy that. If you're not aware, go to the YouTube homepage for Growing a Green Finger. Up top there's a bunch of tabs. One of them is community. Click on that and you can see me post up all sorts of stuff from I'm not going to make a video today to can you believe I've been stung by another wasp to cute pictures of Sophie. I'm going to put her down now. Also, again, if you don't know, I have a t-shirt shop. You know, it's like every other YouTuber. So you can go check out that right here at this link. I think that's about it. If you guys have anything you'd like to see around the garden, something that maybe I'm not thinking of, because again, today I just thought, like, what am I going to do? And then I looked at the roses and I'm like, oh, they kind of got to get done. So, but if you want to see something in the orchard, have a question about my peach trees, apple trees, you want to see more of the Mexican sunflower, which, believe it or not, is still hanging in there, vegetable garden, hedge trimming, dahlias, please let me know in the comments, and I will try to cover that in the next video or the video after that or something along those lines. My dahlias are doing quite well. I'll try to post up some pictures of that on Instagram this week, so you can guys go check that out. That's going to wrap it up for today. Little dog is running away from home now. I got to go catch her. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.